Okay, my name's Tim Cash. I'm the owner of Val6 of Ohio, and this video is going to go over tune-up procedure and cleaning of a KBE5L and 5S. This happens to be an old L that is a single stage, which would be identical to the S. You can see we have deformity of the disc. This is from a dirty burner, dirty fuel nozzle, and running the heater without taking care of that tune-up. So this one we're going to replace the disc. I have a new disc for it. I have already removed the heat visor and the shroud. This is another one that came in that I'll be doing next. You can see it also has some deformity. Both of these heaters are 10 years old, and this should have been done at least every season. So with this, when you buy the heater, you get a parts kit that comes with it. Extra filters, extra fuel nozzle, the nozzle wrench, and O-rings for the fuel filter. In this particular heater, we're simply going to replace the two parts here and just clean everything up. With the front disc, when I remove those screws, some of them will break, some of them will strip out. So you grind the head off of it, take the disc off, and then use vice grips to get that piece out. Sometimes you even have to get in and cut the screw off behind it. We have a 5mm by 0.8 tap to clean everything up. When I reassemble everything, I will use nickel anti-seize, which is good to 2400 degrees. So this particular heater, I've already dropped the bowl and taken the fuel out. But you can see that has a film on it, film in there. What we do not want to do is clean this clear bowl with brake cleaner or carb cleaner. It will do what this one is and make it not clear. So we remove those parts. Something else we want to do at this time is make sure that we have our vent hole. And this is only on the KBE5S and 5L. The vent for the fuel tank is right there. We want to make sure that is clear. The other thing I'd like to do is when I have the filter off, up inside here, I like to get in and use air and just make sure that I blow that fuel line back out. Because I have seen those pick stuff up from the tank. We have a large drain bolt on the bottom of the fuel tank. I recommend at the end of every season to pull that, flush out the tank. If you go to change your filter and the bowl is full, all of that stuff came out of the tank, so it would be a good idea to go ahead and flush the fuel tank out. Otherwise, you're just going to pull all that right back up into the new filter and nozzle. So we have two Phillips screws holding this cover on, one on each side. We remove that. When we go to install this cover, we have a tab that lines up with a notch there. And we want to make sure on the newer models, the KBE5L 2-step, the rubber hose that comes here that is our return line doesn't get pinched by the cover when we install it. So then, once we get into here, we can blow the dust and dirt off of everything. There is a Phillips screw that holds this cover on, right here. We remove that, pop this cover off. We're going to remove the fan for cleaning. So we'll have a bread tie here, just a little wire tie, and one down here. We'll go ahead and remove those. The 2-step KBE5L has 4 wires in this. The older ones only have 2. We'll release the little tab right here, slide this off, pull this wire down and out. Then I'm going to cover the fuel tank on this. Sorry about that with the camera. To remove the fan, we can use a Phillips screwdriver, or if the screws are really tight, we can use an 8mm. We have one on this side, And this one we are going to have to remove completely. Then the one on this side, we're only going to loosen. Once it's loose, then the whole fan assembly will slide and come out. So we have a tab there to be able to slide it. Now with this, we want to see where our setting is, which on a single speed, the old L and the S should be on 3. The 2 steps, I believe, are on 5. But we want to get in and we want to clean all of this stuff out of here. I've seen them a lot worse. However, it can obstruct the flow of air, affect the flow of air through there. So you can use a parts wash cabinet. I'm going to use brake cleaner. I'm going to hold this up so that I do not get brake cleaner on the motor. I do not want it into the bearings on that fan motor. If you use compressed air, make sure you do not hit the vanes on the fan, because you'll end up having to replace the entire assembly. They do not sell just the blower fan itself. So I'll do that cleaning after I'm done filming. So in here, we can see that we have a lot of buildup in here. This is the stuff that we're going to be cleaning. We have our photo eye, which just pulls right out. We want to make sure it's clean. If we're using brake cleaner in here, which you'll see when I disassemble, we leave this out. We do not want to hit the end of that with the brake cleaner either. So then on the burner assembly, we have 3 13mm nuts. That is the way to get into it to change the fuel nozzle. You do not come in through the front to simply change the nozzle. So we remove the nuts. Pull the assembly straight out the back. Now we do have a gasket here. You can either replace the gasket or you can use a small bead of high temperature RTV on here to seal this unit up. Now depending on if you do this frequently enough, you can get by with just blowing the dust out of everything. Because of the age of this heater and how long it has been, I'm actually doing a full disassembly and clean. So we have 4 screws here that hold these flanges. They are a Phillips or a 7mm. So we remove all 4 of them. We remove this flange and this flange. And those we will be cleaning as well. Now we are into our burner assembly. We're going to go ahead and remove this screw right here, which will remove the vanes for the airflow. We want to get those all cleaned up. Which that only goes on the one way. You can see how that's shaped. And we'll clean both sides of that really well. Then we have our electrodes, and you can see the amount of dirt and buildup in here. I've seen these get to the point that they actually arc between the electrode and the frame or against each other down here in the base, and that will of course prevent the unit from firing. So to get that out, we have 2 Phillips screws here and here. This cover comes off. Now we have 2 basically spark plug caps that pop off. Have the spring in them there. And then we have a Phillips screw here that is also a 7mm. A lot of these are usually tight, at which point going to the 7mm is the easier way to get them broke loose. Make sure we don't round out the Phillips part of that screw. and this slides out. So we're going to clean this really well. We're going to, we can take this whole burner assembly. If you remove the 2 fuel lines, you can take this to a parts wash container or cabinet and go ahead and clean it there. I'm going to end up, once I'm done filming, use this stainless pan and just use the brake cleaner and get everything here cleaned up. So this is our fuel nozzle. Now I use a 5/8 ratchet as opposed to the little wrench it comes with. And that is going to be, it should be tight. Doesn't need to be more than maybe 10 or 12 foot-pounds because it is just brass into aluminum. But we'll pull this out, and we're looking to see, you can see how much dirt and how black that screen is. So we will replace this. There's actually a lot of parts to that would have to come apart, so you cannot clean that nozzle. We will clean the fuel out from here. And then, once everything is clean and it goes back together, the exact opposite of what we just took apart. Now, when you reassemble it, make sure you remember to put this back in after you're done cleaning. The other thing that I like to do is, once I have the new filter and bowl in, this is your manual bleed valve on the fuel pump. It is much quicker to remove that plug. Let me grab a screwdriver here. And that's just a little brass plug. We will remove that once everything's back together using a shop rag or towel here. We'll cycle it. It'll blow bubbles out. You'll hear the fuel pump rattle, and you'll have to cycle it probably at least 4 or 5 times. And then you'll hear the fuel pump quiet down as it pulls the prime, fills the filter bowl, and then you'll get fuel spraying about 2 inches out of there. As soon as you get the fuel, shut the unit down, put the plug back in, and then go ahead and fire it back up. So I'm going to clean everything, and then the reassembly, and of course the exact opposite of what I just did. So hopefully that will help people that want to do their own tune-ups, especially once they get a lot of age, use, and dirt in them. So thank you.